back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. This Sunday morning video is going to be a wee look at Celtic's new signing. Sebastian Tounekti plays primarily left wing, can also play right wing, and has been signed to, it would appear, at the moment, replace Kuhn, replace Dyson Maeda, cover for Jota until Jota comes back from injury, which is hoped to be the start of 2026, but still waiting for official confirmation of that. With the way that Celtic have lined up their squad after a disappointing end to the transfers window in summer 2025, Celtic do appear a bit deficient in central strikers, so I would suspect that for the next 4 or 5 months up until January transfer window, Celtic will be using Dyson Maeda and Kelechi Iheanacho as the two main starting central players, with Johnny Kenny and Shinya Maeda coming off the bench. And so it's going to be essential that wide players such as Mikel Barlaquisha, Sebastian Tounekti, Yang and Forrest all play well, as the way that Brendan Rodgers is committed to playing and virtually never changes his formation or his tactics. Celtic do require at least 4 good quality wide players to play the way that Rodgers likes his teams to set up, and then typically around about the 60-minute mark, off come 2 wide players, on come 2 new wide players. And we've also got some video footage of his time for Hammarby in Sweden, and also I thought it'd be interesting just to compare the stats of Jota and Kuhn in their pro careers before they came to Celtic, and comparing those stats to Tounekti's stats at similar levels. So just a bit more background regarding Sebastian Tounekti. He is a Tunisian international with 2 caps for Tunisia. He was actually born in Norway of Tunisian parents and had played for Norway at younger levels. He is 23 years old, 5'7", and Celtic signed him on transfer deadline day for a fee thought to be around about £5.2 million. He plays primarily left wing, but can play right wing, has played also left midfield, and occasionally has played a striker. However, 80% of his time has been as a left winger, 9% as a right winger. However, given the fact that he is a right-footed player, there is no real reason why he couldn't play right wing on a very regular basis, especially as he's a very two-footed player. Looking at his time with Hammarby this season, 21 games, 2 goals, 5 assists. His whole time in Hammarby since joining them at the start of 2025 for £1 million. 27 games for Hammarby, 3 goals, 5 assists. He's played also for Bodo Glimt, Haugesland, Tromsdalen, Ranheim, and Groningen under 21 level, and putting all of his various games together, including his time in under 18, under 19, under 21 football, whole career, 138 games, 17 goals, 11 assists, so not tremendously impressive there. Does actually have 9 career European games, all of which have been sort of group games and qualifier games, not played as yet at the full Champions League level, and obviously international experience just recently for Tunisia. Looking at some of his other stats, 28.6% of his shots are on target, averages as 2.22 shots per game, 49 touches per game, all very good. His goal conversion rate down at 7%, which isn't so good, obviously. Dribble success, 48%, so 1 and 2 dribbles, etc. is a success, which is a good stat. Possession loss, 12.1 per game, not so good. However, contrasting that, 0.1 times per game he's caught offside. So in essence, 10 games before he's caught offside, which is obviously an excellent stat, shows that he times his runs well without having to risk getting caught offside on a regular basis, which has been often a problem for Celtic if the wide player lacks that bit of pace. Passing accuracy, really good at 85%. Passing in opposition half, again, really good at 80%. Chip passes, 81%, again, really good stat for that. Long balls, 50% accuracy, which again is a good stat. 50% really is the cut-off level, and above that you're doing well, below that you're doing less well. And crosses, a bit disappointing at 23%, so implying 1 in 4 crosses gets to the intended target. What we'll do now is we'll pop in that 4 or 5 minute selection of highlights taken and edited from another YouTube provider, along with all the copyright exclusions. And after that, we'll have a reanalysis of how I think Sebastian Tounekti is as a player, a couple of wee comparisons to Jota and Kuhn at a similar stage of their career prior to joining Celtic, and my final thoughts on Tounekti coming to Celtic. had a wee look at that selection of highlights of Tounekti earlier in his career, along with quite a few other similar compilation videos of Tounekti playing for Hammarby and his other clubs. So putting together all those videos on YouTube. My thoughts regarding Tounekti is I think he's actually a potentially very talented winger. He is very much two-footed, good right foot, although seems to have virtually no drop-off when he uses his left foot to control the ball, cross the ball, pass, etc. Although it does seem to shoot primarily very much right-footed. However, it does appear very two-footed, which of course is a big bonus. Got lots of pace, good acceleration to get past a player. Very quick feet, good with the ball at his feet, good dribbling skills. What I was particularly impressed with, gets the defender off on the wrong foot so that he bursts past the defender. He can cut inside on his right foot. Quite often when he cuts in on his right foot, much like the way that Kuhn and Jota both did cutting in off their wing, he often drives across the box, trying to find the pass or a shot, which I think is an encouraging thing. However, unlike Jota and Kuhn and Luis Palma and Yang, he does actually hit the byline on a really regular basis, and does appear to beat people on the outside with quite a lot of ease, and then deliver his cross from the byline, which again is very encouraging. Good, accurate passer, hits his crosses nice and crisply, so they're getting to the attacker with quite a lot of pace, and often a wee bit of bend and curve as well, which can be very useful if your striker such as Iheanacho or Maeda is trying to deflect the ball in with their heads. Does, I think, need to improve his finishing inside the box. Doesn't get himself in the box, it would appear, enough. Does actually score a number of goals from outside the box, but in general terms, his shooting from inside the box, when there's a bit more pressure, a bit more of a crowd to try and beat, he seems to be less accurate, and also does need to improve his defensive skills, tracking back to win the ball back, pressurised defence to slow defence, getting the ball out of their defensive zone. So I think there are areas to work on for Tounekti, but I do think his two-footedness is going to be a bonus to Celtic. His ability to cut inside or go outside, which obviously puts the defenders on the wrong foot, as they're not sure which way he's going to go. Too many of Celtic's players are very predictable in that they really only do one thing, i.e. Cut in on the inside. Whether that's a Rodgers tactic or whether that's the player's limitations, I'm not so sure. James Forrest does cut inside quite often, does actually try and beat the defender on the outside, but it's been much more often Celtic's fullbacks who've been the ones to do overlapping runs and runs to the byline. Just comparing stats of Tounekti with Jota and Kuhn at a similar stage. So this is their stats prior to joining Celtic, and these stats exclude any games these players played at under 18, under 19, under 21 level. So looking at, in comparison, over that time, in those sorts of games, Tounekti 120 games, 14 goals, 11 assists. Kuhn 115 games, so pretty much the same number of games, 16 goals, 17 assists, so a couple of extra goals, a few more assists, but not significantly greater. And Jota, 99 games, 13 goals, 11 assists, so Jota played a few less games for his clubs prior to joining Celtic. However, practically identical for goals and the same number of assists. So what those would show is prior to joining Celtic, Tounekti, Jota and Kuhn all had very comparable records in first team professional football. So just thought it'd be an interesting way to compare those players, because there are some misgivings regarding Sebastian Tounekti's relatively poor stats for goals and assists prior to joining Celtic. So I do think actually Tounekti is going to turn out to be a very good player for Celtic. I think he actually gives us extra pace, extra trickery, extra ability to beat a defender, get himself in and behind. I think had he been in the team against Kierat Almaty, I think he would have had a far better ability to beat the fullback and get in behind the defence in comparison to Forrest, Maeda, Yang, Nygren, etc., etc. So potentially, if he had been in the side for Kierat Almaty, he could have been either as a starter or more likely coming off the bench, could have been the key to get in behind the Kierat Almaty defence, who defended so brilliantly for 210 minutes against Celtic over those two qualifiers. Would be brilliant to see what you feel yourself regarding Tounekti. Say there are a lot of videos of him from his last 2 or 3 years, so do have a look at those, and do pop your own thoughts into the comment section. And as per always, if you are new to the channel, not yet subscribed, please do click that subscriber button. It would be great to get to 1,400 subscribers. We're just 10, 11, 12 away from that at the moment, so it would be great to reach the 1,400 level. So that just about finishes things off for today's video. We'll be doing a few videos over the next week, and of course there will be the weekly live stream next Thursday at 9 PM in the evening. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.